Hello, my name is Pidgeon. I'm intersex and I am non-binary as well. Intersex is an umbrella term for over like 35 or 40 variations. And I have one of them called partial androgen insensitivity. I had testes that didn't descend into the scrotum area. I didn't even have a scrotum, but they stayed inside my abdomen. I did not have a uterus and I did not have ovaries. And what's cool about my body is it does convert androgens, like testosterone and other things, into typically what we call typically female hormones. I didn't know that I was intersex until I was 18 years old. I discovered it because I was in a classroom and my professor put up a slide on the projector screen and describing the intersex variation that I have. And it sounded like me. So I did some research and discovered, like I called my mom and I ended up getting my medical records from the hospital. I was only told that I was born with cancer when I was a child in my ovaries, and they had to remove those ovaries. And that's why I couldn't supposedly have a period, menstruation, or a child when I was older. I had a surgery when I was 11, and I had a few when I was a baby. So I remember the one when I was 11, but they told me it was for a bladder problem, but they were really doing a vaginoplasty. And that's kind of how I started to find out I was intersex, just from reading my medical records. So my parents were pressured by, the doctors lied to them and said, if you don't do this surgery and this surgery and this surgery, your child will grow up and get cancer and die. If the clitoris is too big, they won't understand themselves and they'll be maybe suicidal. So we should fix this when they're a baby, and get it over with. And if you're an intersex person that doesn't get the surgeries as a child, as an adult, you might go to a gynecologist or a certain doctor and they might then try. And I think that's part of the struggle we have as intersex activists, is that we are going up against what's considered like a good guy or a good person. And so some people are just like, can't understand, why would you fight against a doctor? Don't doctors want you to be well and take care of you? And we have to reframe the society's perception of doctors and the hospitals. A lot of the same surgeries that trans people have to fight for are the surgeries they force on intersex children. They believe that our bodies are abnormal and we need an intervention. They take out people's gonads and testes and ovaries and reproductive organs with the goal of making them legibly male or legibly female to the outside world. In my case, they took out my testes, my undescended testes, which could have maybe produced their own hormones, but there's no way of knowing what my body would have done and stuff like that. So all the genitalia and reproductive organ surgeries are unnecessary interventions. And there are a small amount of times when somebody does need something, and you can usually tell if it's necessary because it's not about the genitalia or the reproductive organs. They claim, that I gave consent, right? And it left me with a lot of scar tissue and a lot of problems and stuff like that. And they didn't explain, never told me I had a vaginoplasty, never. So you grow up thinking whatever, and then you try to have sex with, people. And at that point I was trying to have sex with boys. And that was horrible. It was horrible. It was painful. And I didn't know why, and it didn't really work. You just can't do that to kids. You can't just change their bodies in such important ways without explaining to them. And if there's research out there that shows that maybe this isn't a good thing, you need to tell the person that side too. And also just testimonials from other intersex people. They never connected me to other intersex children or my parents to other intersex parents or people. That would have changed everything. And also they tell you to not tell anybody. So there's a lot of secrecy, don't tell your friends, don't tell anyone you're dating. Just you need to know, nobody else. Maybe your husband when you're older. So they also kind of force heterosexuality on young intersex people. They always only really talk about the opposite sex when they talk about your future. You feel really alone then growing up. And that's why I make, the film, and that's why I do what I do, is so that I can hopefully reach out to a younger person and let them know you're not alone.